But yeah, I studied maths at university. I'm originally from the southwest, a county called Wiltshire. That's where I'm from. Perhaps you could tell me a bit more about yourself.
Oh yeah, so I've had a completely different upraising. I literally landed in Heathrow last September, so I'm fairly new to the UK. I came here because of uni,
Yeah.
but before that, I was very much abroad. I went to 6 different schools across my 12 years of schooling in countries like the US, South Korea, Malaysia, and Turkey, and now in the UK. So I've lived a very
Right.
like global life, going around a lot
Mhm.
of places. That's made me like try to adapt quickly to a lot of different situations, make new connections everywhere I visit, appreciate different cultures, and that has been really integral to who I am right now. And that's what all my friends tell me here is that they could really tell the difference in what
Mm.
the difference in upbringing causes to personality wise. I would also say,
Yeah.
in terms of academics and career, I am very rounded individual in terms of. Oh, I think the computer started working.
Ah.
Let me see. Uh, yeah, no. I will just close this because it's not responding again. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so I would say I'm a very rounded, interested person. That's my way of just saying that I'm interested in a lot of different stuff. So obviously, as applying to a quant trading intern role, I'm interested in all the STEM subjects. I'm interested in math. I'm interested in the sciences and my subject as well, economics, finance, and data science. I'm interested in all three of them. But I'm also interested in a lot of different stuff. So I'm interested in history. I'm interested in art, music, philosophy, and a lot of different stuff. So I think
Oh,
that's another way of describing me is just that I have a lot of interest in a lot of stuff, and I have a lot of what I would say like residual knowledge in a lot of different areas that might come in handy, like to me once in a while.
okay. Nice. What do you like to do in your spare time?
Right now, I love running. So I mentioned this in my behavioral interview as well, but I'm actually preparing for a marathon in August. So I'm training 4 days a week right now, and I'm training with a regiment. I'm training with a specific diet in mind. That's something I like to do a lot because running just makes me focused and just takes my mind off a lot of stuff that's happening around me, whether that be
Mhm.
academics or careers or any sort of responsibilities I might have. I feel like I could just focus on being me when I'm running. So I like that very much about that. It's the same with any
Oh,
outdoors activities I do as well. I love doing hiking as well. And in addition to all the benefits that come with running, I love seeing nature and experiencing nature and really feeling the connection uh, back to nature whenever I go hiking. So recently during spring break, I went to Isle of Skye in Scotland with a couple of my friends.
very nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was a great
Sure.
3 day, 4 day weekend. It was a great trip. So I love doing
Cool.
that as well.
So, sure. So you arrived last year. So you're in first year, I take it.
Yes, that's right.
Brilliant. Okay. What? How did you hear about Optiver?
Yeah, so I've talked to a lot of different people about Optiver. I've talked to obviously, I think 5 different recruiters, and I've talked to people who are currently a quant trader. His name's Ilya in Amsterdam. I've talked to a couple of previous quant interns and incoming quant traders, and I've talked to spring interns, a couple of which are my course mates. And everything I hear about it is that the internship and the spring week experience has been phenomenal. There's nothing to compare like it. Optiver tries to prepare its incoming um, early careers uh, pool of candidates the best way they can to prepare for the highly technical and high pressure role that Optiver obviously requires in a quant trader or a quant researcher role.
Right.
Additionally, just based on the culture alone, I love that Optiver is a non-siloed firm. That I've even heard it being described as traders are shouting across desks. and trying to talk to each other. So there's a lot of collaborations going on. No one's trying to develop their own proprietary strategy. Everyone's sharing information, and I love that about Optiver as well. And obviously, Optiver is a global leading firm in quant. You hire thousands of employees across the world. You have multiple sectors, and I also love that there's a cross-departmental collaboration as well. So I heard from a current quant trader that like a few times a week, they will talk to a software engineer or a quant researcher about something that they want to develop in their strategy or something that might help them analyze data or visualize data better. And there's this constant improvement across teams and inside teams that I really envision is the key to Optiver success and something that will help me and I appreciate a lot in a future workspace.
All right, nice. Well, this is your first interview with us. I'll run you through the format briefly. We're going to play an online game, or rather, you're going to be playing the game. I'm just going to be asking you loads of questions, getting you to explain your reasoning, your decision making. So the main ground rule is for you just to think out loud, tell me what you're thinking, why you're thinking it. If anything's not clear from what I've explained, please just ask for clarification. I'll be
Okay,
more than
great.
happy to give it to you.
Let me just like
Could I
raise
ask?
this a little bit so it's easier for you.
No, that's fine. Don't worry about
Really?
it.
Okay,
Yeah, fine. Yeah, I should be able to follow what you're doing to a large extent on my screen.
awesome.
Could you? Yeah, could I ask you not to use any pen and paper for the time being?
Yes, sure.
Cool. Right. Do you think you can log on to the assessment portal, which I hope has been
I'm on.
shared with you?
Yes.
You're on it. Good. Very good. Well, I'll start on my end. Right. Okay. Can you click join interview?
Yes. Got it.
Okay. Cool. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, I'll run you through the game, what we have here. You can imagine here that you're in a casino. In the casino, there are 3 different games taking place. One of them is a coin flip, where we flip 3 coins in turn. One of them is a dice roll, where we roll 2 dice and we take their sum.
Right?
The third one is a card draw, where we first draw 2 cards from a deck and take their product, and then we take a third card and we take the sum of all 3 cards.
Yes.
Now, for each of these games, you're going to have the opportunity to bet on certain outcomes occurring from those games. Each outcome or result is listed as a row beneath the title of each game. So take the coin flip, for instance, the first outcome you can bet on is that all 3 coins flip identically.
Yes, I see that.
Now, for each outcome, you can place a wager on whether or not you think that outcome will occur. You can place a wager, which means making a bet, and your payoff is determined by the odds which you're offered on screen. Now, are you familiar with how odds notation works?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Are you familiar with how odds notation works?
Yes, I am.
Cool. So if we just go through one example, take the first coin flip bet, you're offered odds of 3.3 to 1.
Yes.
That means were you to wager $10, if you're correct and the outcome occurs, you'd make a profit of $33. If you are not correct and the outcome doesn't occur, then you would make a loss of $10, which is your wager. All right. So
Yes.
pretty simple. There's one bet which works slightly differently. That's the one in the bottom right-hand corner. Perhaps it might be good if you can zoom out slightly to try and get everything onto one screen without having to scroll.
I think that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So here as I mentioned earlier, we've taken 3 cards from a deck, and we're going to take the sum of those 3 cards.
Yes.
And then you can what's called trade on what you think the sum is going to be. You can trade versus a bot, which is making you a market. The market it's made at the moment, you can see is 9 at 11. So
Right.
you can trade against that bot. By trade against it, I mean that you can either buy from it or sell to it. If you buy from it, you buy from the offer, which in this market is 11. If you want to sell the market, you sell at the bid, which is the lower of the 2 numbers, in this case, 9. Then your payoff is simply the difference between the price that you trade and where the sum settles. So let's take one example. Let's say you sell the market at 9. If the sum comes out to be 7, then
Right.
you'd make a profit of $2 per lot. Again, you enter a volume,
Hmm.
which is the number of lots you want to trade or bet. You'd make a profit of $2 per lot. Were you to have bought the market at 11, you'd make a loss of $4 per lot. Is that clear?
Yes.
Now you have a bankroll of $1,000, which you can see in the bottom left-hand corner.
Yes.
That is for you to assign to the bets in whatever way that you see fit. You're not constrained at all as to what you can bet on or how much you can bet on one particular bet. This game works in rounds, such that when you put all the bets you want to make for a round, you hit submit. That will then trigger each of the games to produce a result.
Mm.
Then you can see all of the results of all of your bets, and you can move on to the next round where the odds are going to change.
Okay.
For each of the bets. So it's completely up to you what you choose to bet on, how much you choose to bet on each thing. It's completely at your discretion. Quick note on the card games. I might have mentioned every card will have a point value from using which we can calculate the product in the sum. Every card will have a value between 1 and 13, depending on the value of the card. An ace having a value of 1, the king having a value of 13.
Yes.
All right. So that's probably enough for now. Let me know if you have any more questions. But apart from that, I invite you to explore what you want to bet on.
Okay. So I just have I think maybe 2 questions. How many rounds are there?
As many as we get through in the interview.
Okay. And then
there's no limit.
The second question is the goal is to maximize profit, right?
Yes.
Okay. Got it. Then I would say, first of all, I will calculate. Is it fine if I take as much time for the first round to calculate all the expected values?
Yeah, if you like. Yeah.
Okay. So the first one of the coin flip, all 3 being identical, there are 8 total combinations of 3 flip coins possible. All 3 being identical, there are 2 possibilities, all being heads or all being tails. So that is a 1/4 chance, which means that the expected value based on the odds right here. Okay. So I see a way to calculate the expected value easier, which is normally you would calculate it by the payoff times the probability and the sum of all of that over the sample space. Here, what we could do is, because the odds on the right-hand side are all 1, we could add 1 to the odd on the left-hand side. So for 3.3, we could turn that into 4.3 and multiply that by the probability minus 1, and that will give us the expected value. So in this case, what that means is it's going to be the probability is 1/4. So multiply that by 4.3. That would be 4.3 over 4 minus 1 would be 0.3 over 4, which is expected value of 0.075. So that's a positive expected value. More heads and tails.
If you could tell me what you think the fair odds are,
The
what
fair
would you
odd.
say?
It
For
will
the
be
first bet.
for the first bet. It would be let me see. It would be 3-1.
Okay.
Yes. More heads and tails. We'll count the combinations again. So there are 2 possibilities. There's 2 heads or 3 heads. 3 heads we already established it was 1. 2 heads we said it was we will see it could be is a combination of 3 choose 2. So there's 3 options. So that would be 4. By mirror, more tails than heads has the same option. So both of them are going to be probability 1/2 or 0.5. That means the fair odds would be 1-1, which means that the more heads than tails will give a positive EV of, let's see, 1.2, 2.2, 0.2 over 2, 0.1. And more tails than heads will give a negative EV of negative 0.05.
What does the EV mean exactly?
So the
What does
expected
that number
value
mean?
is or the estimated value is over uh, tending towards infinity. If we play the game over and over and over again with the given odds, what is the expected payoff? What is the expected average payoff? That is what I'm trying to calculate.
But average payoff relative to what? I mean, what are we betting in these iterations?
So we're taking the odds as the payoffs. So let's say it's just we're betting
So
$1.
what I mean is that your payoff is determined by the amount that you wager.
Yes. So for every $1 we bet, that's the expected value.
Okay, fine. So it's per dollar
Per dollar.
what we
Yes.
expect to make in profit. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So the last item right here is all 3/5 alternating. Uh, we've already been given all the outcomes possible, which is 2. So that's 1 out of 4. Again, it's the same odd as the first item, which means that the fair odd would be 3 to 1. And this will give a payoff of expected payoff per dollar of 0.15. Yes. So out of these options right here, the highest expected payoff per dollar would be, I believe, what was this one again? Yeah, it would be the last one. So that would be that option, but we could bet on the other ones as well. So I'll take a look at the dice roll option now. So the first item there is 2 or 3. If we take if we take the permutation of all 2 dice, there are 6 options for the first dice and the 6 options for the second die. Multiplying that together, we get 36. So out of the 36 permutations, 2 or 3, there will be one odd permutation of 2, and then there will be 2 permutations of 3. So that's that's a probability of 3 over 36 or 1 over 12. The odds are 12.1 to 1, so that's a positive expected value, but it's a very tiny one compared to the rest. So skip over that.
What should the fair odds be?
It should be 11 to 1.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, 11 to 1. And then for item 4, um, there are 3 combinations again. So that's the same thing as 2 or 3. So the fair odds would be 11 to 1 again. And then it would have a marginally tiny estimated payoff per dollar. 10 would be 5, 5, 4, 6, 6, 4. So 3 again. And in this case, the odds are against our favor. So this will be a negative expected payoff per dollar. 6, 7, or 8. 6 and 8 can be mirrored. So we just need to find one for 6. That would be 3, 3, 2, 4, 4, 1, 1, 5, 5, 1. So there's 5 for 6 and 8. For 7, there's 6. So that would be 16 out of 36 possible permutations, which is 4 over 9, which is the probability of that happening. And we have the odds 1.1 to 1, which will be 2.1 to 1. So that would be a bad bet for us because we're going to get negative expected payoff.
Okay, and what should the fair odds be?
The fair odds should be 9 over 4 to 1. No,
Okay.
sorry. It's not 9 over 4 to 1. It's 5 over 4 to 1.
Okay. 1.25 to 1.
1.25 to
Yep.
1. Yes. 11 or 12 would be the same as 2 or 3. So it's the exact same, but it has even worse odds. So I'm going to ignore that. Even or odd. So the probability of the sum of 2 dice being even or odd. I'll first consider the even option. So because the complement of the even would be the odd. The even option if we take the sum of two even numbers, we get an even number. And if we take the sum of two odd numbers, we get an even number. So, and those are the only two possibilities. The probability that we have two even numbers is 1/2 times 1/2, which is 1/4. The probability that we have two odd numbers is 1/2 times 1/2, which is 1/4 again. And because these are mutually exclusive events, we could sum their probabilities together by the axioms of probability. So that means that it's 1/4 plus 1/4, which is 1/2. And so that means the fair odds are 1-to-1. And we see that it's going to be 1/2 odd probability for even and 1/2 probability for odd. So these are equal bets in terms of the expected payoffs. And it is going to be an expected payoff per dollar of 0.1. Okay, yes. So out of all of these options, I'm still seeing that all three flips alternating. That gives us the best option right now. Now I'm going to go over to card draw. And this says take the product of the first two playing cards to bet. The odds of it being even. Okay. So I'm just going to consider one suit right now. There's 1 to 13. That means the even numbers are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So there's 6 even numbers and 7 odd numbers. Across the entire 52 deck of playing cards, that means there are 24 even numbers and 28 odd numbers. So the odds that the product of the first two playing cards are even.
Should we perhaps make some approximations to make it a bit easier for you?
Yes. We will. Normally, we would say it's without replacement, but we'll just do it with replacement. So that means. Oh, it's easier to do with when doing the complement of the odds, because the only way to get odds is if we take an odd number times another odd number. Yes. So that means with the simplification of with replacement, that'll be 28 over 52 squared. We could simplify 28 over 52 and say that is 7/13. So 7/13 squared is 49 over 169. That is the probability that it's going to be odd. So the probability that it's going to be even is going to be 1 minus that, which is 120 over 169. So let's now calculate the expected payoff. So 120 times 1.4 is 168 over 169. So it's about, I would say with the approximation, it's about even odds. So it's a fair bet, approximately. For above,
Okay. All right. What about the next two?
yes, for above 50 and above 100, um, uh, we could approach it this way. So we're taking the product, and we can count. We have 169 total possibilities, and out of that, we can basically count how many are above 50 given the first playing card. So
That sounds like it might take quite a long time.
okay, simplifying that, let's do the expected value calculation with products. So the expected value of a product would, because these two events are not correlated, we could take the expected value of the expected value of A times B, where event A and B are not correlated. We could say it's E of A times E of B. So the expected value of the first playing card is 1 plus 13 over 2, which is 7. And then the expected value of the second playing card will approximate and just say it's 7 as well. So approximately, it would be 49. So above 50, the odds would be this will be a favorable bet, approximately, by 0.2. So
Do you think the odds should be about 50-50, so 1-to-1?
yes, about 50-50. And then above 100.
Do you think that's does that feel right to you? What do you think the average product is? You think it's about
Wait, wait.
49?
I,
Higher or lower?
um, it might be lower. I think it is lower. The reason being is I just calculated 7 times 7, but now I'm doing 6 times 8, which is 48, and then 5 times 9, which is 45. So it doesn't mirror. I will say
All right.
it's lower.
So if we have to make a rough adjustment to the fair odds, up from 1-to-1, what do you think they are roughly? 2-to-1?
No, I think that's a little bit too far. I would say a rough adjustment. Let me just calculate 49, 48, 48, 45, uh, 6 times 8, 7 times 5, 5. I would just roughly put it now at 40 being the average and approximating a Gaussian distribution with a standard deviation of, I'll just say 7 for now. I would say the odds are maybe a little bit less than 2-to-1, maybe like 1.7 to 1 would be a fair odd.
Okay.
I'm
All right,
estimating.
cool. Let's run with that. Let's move on to the next one. Let's try
Okay.
and get this one, get the last two bets pretty quickly off.
Okay. Above 100. Now, this one I think we could do my first approach because it's a lot simpler. So I'll just do it quickly. The lowest possible number is 8 times 13. That's one option. And then 9, we could do it with 12. So that's 3. 10, we could do it with 11 to 13, which is 3 again, so it's 6. 11, we could do it with 10, which is 4, so that's 10. 12, we could do it with 9, so that is 5, so that's 15. And then 13, we could do it with 8 again, which is going to give us 6 total options. So there's 21 out of 169. And then we do the same calculation, 8.9 times 21, which is, I'm just going to approximate it as 9, which is 189. 189 over 169 minus 1. So 20 over 169. That is a good bet. How good is it? It's a little like 0.1213. So it's still worse than all three flips are alternating. Okay. I think I've done all of it except the last one. Take the sum of the
Right?
3 cards to trade a market. The bid is 9 and this ask is 11. So the sum of 3 cards, actually for this, we could use the previous method, which is the expected value. So the expected value of 1 card is 7. So the sum of 3 cards would be 7 plus 7 plus 7, which is 21. So here, this will give us, actually, this will give us the highest profit per dollar, I think, out of all of these options. So,
By how much?
um, right now we could buy at 11. So, and the expected is 21. So every lot we give, we get an expected payoff of $10. So we put in $11 and we can expect to get $10. So yes, so that would be um yeah, that would be just we put in 11, we can expect to get 10, which is greater than any of the other options.
All right. So yeah, you've gone through and worked out what you think is good, what you think are good bets. What are you actually going to bet on?
I'm gonna bet on the
What
market,
bets are you going to make?
and I'm gonna
Just the market?
just the market
Why just the market?
because it gives the highest uh expected payoff out of all these options.
Okay.
Eh,
Is there
I,
any scenario where you would put on more than one bet?
if I had made an approximate, is there any risk associated in this scenario to just putting all my uh bankroll into one game?
Well, only that game goes against and you lose a lot of money because you have a very concentrated bet.
Oh,
But
right. Okay.
again, your
I
goal
see.
here is to maximize your profit.
I see. I see. So in this case, we're only playing one if I put all my money into one market, that means that um we're only drawing 3 cards once. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now it makes sense why you would want to spread your bets and diversify a little. I think
Why?
because I could either lose all my money or win all my money. And do I get more money if I lose all my money, or is the $1,000 all I get throughout all the rounds?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
if I lose all of my money right now due to a low chance of the sum of 3 cards being low, then I can't play any more games. So that would be bad for me. So in that case, I think I will spread my risk by betting the most in this game still, but uh, still betting on other games that still give me a positive expected payoff.
What if you only have one round to play?
If I only have one round to play, that would depend on my risk aversity level. So if I was risk loving, I would probably put a high amount in this game. If I was risk averse, I would put maybe a little bit lower amount in the market making market taking game. It would
Given your
depend on that.
objective, what given your objective, why does it matter how risk averse you are? What's your objective?
To maximize profit. Okay. In this sandbox scenario where the only thing we care about is profit, and we had just one round to maximize profit, the highest expected value would come from wagering all my $1,000, or at least how many lots can fit in $1,000 into the market. But it
What would
also
that look like in practice? What would that look like in practice?
in practice
What would your actual bet be?
it would be 1,000 divided by 11, which is 990. Yeah, 90. So I would put 90 to buy like this, and then for the rest of the
Okay.
10, I would wager it on the one that was highest for me, which I believe that one was which one was that? I think it was all 3 flips alternate. So I would put $10 there. So this would be the scenario that I would take if there was only one round.
All right. What what would you do if you had to maximize your profit, but you had the constraint that you couldn't lose more than half of your bankroll? What trade would you do?
And we're still doing 1 round.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I can't lose more than half, then that means that I would consider the worst case scenario where I lose on this game and also lose on this game. And I would in that case, right now it would be $1,000, which would not be ideal. So that means I will reduce the number of lots I put into the market game and then spread it across other games. So right now, I believe the even, odd, and more heads than tails, all of them has the same expected payoff, and those were, I believe, the second highest expected payoffs out of all of the games. So that means
Yeah.
it would most likely look like me putting a little less than half of my total bankroll into the market taking game, which would
Okay.
be maybe let's say 40, or maybe like 35 or 40 thereabouts. And
Why? Why not exactly half? You
because
said like a little bit less than half.
the reason I'm doing a little bit less than a half is because there's always the probability that I could lose on the other games. So if I lose on the other games, that would bring me even down, more down from the threshold,
All
and
right. Cool.
it would break
Let,
that.
let,
Yeah,
let's say you buy 35 lots here.
35
What's the
bucks.
maximum you can lose on that trade?
It would be $385.
You sure?
No, sorry. Wait. So the maximum I could lose is if it's 111, so it's 3. So that would be a loss of 30, 3, and I buy at 11, so that would be 8. So 8 times 35 is 280. I could lose $280.
All right. Is there anything you want to change then?
Okay, now that you've clarified that for me, I would put a little bit more than 35. I would probably put, let me calculate for 45 how much that would be. 8 times 45, 360. So if I lose here, that would be a maximum loss of 360, which is still not a lot considering that the probability of all 3 cards being won is 1 over 169. So I'll raise this to 50. 50 would be 400 if I get that. And I think about 55 would be appropriate because there's 1 of 169 chance that I lose the most amount of money possible, which will be $440, which will still be less than the 500 threshold that you've given me. And then I will spread my bet a little bit higher on the all 3 flips alternating. So I wager 605 right now. So I have $395 left. I would put maybe 200 here, and then with the remaining 195, I would spread that evenly across the 3 other games, which give the same expected payoff.
And what's the maximum you can lose on those?
Okay. Given that I lose all of the other money, which that would be um,
So how much can you lose on the market?
on the market, I could lose $440 maximum.
Cool.
And then for the rest of the games, I could lose all of the money I put in, which will be
Is that true?
$450. So the maximum I could lose is 440 plus 450, which is 890. But the odds of that happening are extremely low.
But it is a hard constraint that I've given you.
Oh, right. If it's a very hard constraint, right, constraint. Mm,
How would you change your position here?
okay. Honestly, then I might not use all of my bankroll. I might just focus purely on the market, and the most I could lose on the market with the amount of money I can have is 8. 500 divided by 8, which is 82 point, wait, 82.5, but I can I bet fractional amounts?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Don't think so.
Oh, I think you can. It allows me to.
All right. Fair
So
enough. If you can, then go ahead.
I would bet 82.5 in the market. And that would give me the maximum possible loss of $500, but it would still
Yeah.
maximize my expected profit.
What's 8 times 82.5?
500, right? 480 plus, yes, 500.
8 times 8, 82.5? What's 8 times 80?
Oh, sorry. Why am I 62 and a half? 62.5. Sorry.
Yeah. All right.
Yes, so
Okay, so
that
that
would
would
be
be your
my,
bet. Well, and what's your EV here
my
in
expected
this position?
value would be 10. It would be $625 in profit.
Yeah. Okay. What if I gave you the constraint that you couldn't lose more than $50?
I would still do the
How would you
same
maximize your profit then?
and bet 6.25 on the buy. Right?
What's your EV?
$62.5.
Is that definitely the optimal solution here?
I can't lose more than $50.
Yeah. Are there any bets which give you less EV but have lower risk, perhaps? Or any combination of bets, perhaps?
We could go back to the I guess we could hedge our bet in the market by also selling some. So in that case, it would look like, let's see. So if the worst case happens,
How would that look?
which is 3, then I will, for every sell and buy combination I do, every sell I would gain 6, every buy I would lose 8. So that would be a loss of 2. So the constraint was $50 again.
Yeah.
Okay, so I could do 25 and 25 on each side. That would give me uh, the maximum loss of 50 if it goes below 9, and a maximum gain of 50 if it goes above 11. Is there a better way we could do this? Given that the chances of the sum of 3 cards being greater than 11 is much higher than it being 9, we can actually, can I calculate the probabilities of it being below 9 and above 11?
I think that's going to take a bit too long.
Okay,
Okay, I think we'll probably move on from here, actually.
Sure.
What we're going to do now is I'm going to give you, well, perhaps, yeah, okay. I'm going to reset the game. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, I've reset the game, so you're going to see that the odds are going to change.
yes.
Now, I'm just going to give you 5 minutes to play the game on your own.
All right.
You don't have to explain all your reasoning to me. I won't ask any. I won't interrupt you at all. We'll have a catch up after the 5 minutes are over.
Okay.
Your goal here is to maximize your profit during these 5 minutes.
All right.
Again, you have $1,000 in your bankroll.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only money you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
So bear that in mind. But apart from that, there are no other constraints. Same rules. You can yeah, bet on whatever you want to. That's completely up to you. Just a quick note: understand how your bankroll changes when you sell the market. Perhaps just go and type a 1 into the sell volume right now.
Yes.
You'll notice that your bankroll goes up. That's because you're effectively selling to someone who is giving you money.
Right.
You're receiving premium.
Mhm.
So if you buy the market, you're paying. So your bankroll goes down. If you sell, your bankroll goes up. That doesn't mean that you're not taking on risk.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So bear that all in mind. So yeah, I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Any questions before that?
No.
All right. Going to start you off now.
Okay. Um, 1636 over.
Yeah, you also can play as many rounds as you like during
Yeah.
this time.
Okay.
That's 1 minute gone.
I'm recalculating the EVs because I forgot some. Yes. Okay. Hmm, okay.
You'll notice now you might get some other bets which you can make if you want to.
Yes. Okay. So what the dice isn't 12. That'll be a bad bet. What if the first 2 cards is less than 10? Nah, not good. I'm just gonna do that. Okay. Good bet. That's a good bet. 1, 50. Even higher. No. 31, 15. 24. That's not good. Oh.
That's half your time gone.
What'd you say?
That's half your time gone.
Okay, got it. 3 perfects. I will wager big. Okay. I will do 60, 100, 10, 100. Each H sequence will be identical. 100, be 3 over 8. 3 over 8. That's a good bet. 200. Still not taking this. I'm not sure. Okay. 21. It's a little low. So I could sell to get
1 minute left.
Okay. Okay. 100. And 200 there. 200, 300 there. Skip that 200 there. It'll be
30 seconds.
even. Okay. Then 61, 100, 100, 400, 100, 100, and
10 seconds. Right, time's up.
yep.
How did that go?
Okay.
What do you think went well? What could you do better next time?
I think I took advantage of the expected payoffs that I calculated beforehand. So I was able to take advantage of the dice roll game quite well for the items 2 or 3, 4, 10, 6, 7, 8, all of those, even odd. There weren't favorable probabilities for even odd, so I didn't use them, but I had a fair grasp of what odds were favorable for me for those games. So I could play relatively small wagers of like hundreds and fifties for those every single round, almost. And then the market game, I was able to take great advantage of because I talked about it with you and reasoned about it fairly well. One thing I could have done better is maybe hedge my bets a little bit better with putting more in sell. But as we had a time constraint and as we wanted to maximize profit the most, I waited until the market bid ask was lower in the low tens or maybe the single digits level in order to just put all my bets at lots in the buy to make a great amount of money. For the
Let's assume that you place some volume to buy because you think there's edge to buy the market.
sorry,
Why would it be out? Let's assume that
yeah,
on a given market,
hmm
you've bought the market
yes,
because you think it's low and you think you see EV buying.
yes.
Why is it advantageous for you to sell at the same time?
So that would be the case if the market was very close to 21. It and for example, if the market bid ask was, let's say, 19 to 20, then it's still advantageous to buy, but there is
Why?
because the fair value is 21. So um if we're buying at 20, then
Oh,
uh
sorry, at 20.
yes, at 20, then we could
At
get
20,
an
20.
expected payoff of $1
Yeah,
per lot.
sure. Sorry, I thought you said 21.
No, sorry. Yeah. So 19 to 20. But there's
Yep.
still almost a half chance, maybe a little bit less than a half chance that the sum of the 3 cards will be less than 19, in which case I lose all my money. Or like I lose a lot of money. So in that case, I would put more money on sell. And if the bid ask spread is larger, I would be more inclined to do that because that means that uh, I could either gain the bid ask spread if it's higher, or lose the bid ask spread if it's lower. In the middle, it's like average. But if the bid
What
ask
if
spread is
what if what if the market what if the market is 18 at 20?
18 and 20,
What happens if yeah, you do some hedges so you also sell, but
yes,
the sum ends up at 19.
then you're even. You don't lose money. You don't gain money.
Is that true?
If you put equal amounts in sell and buy,
But what price are you buying at?
uh, at so you said 18 to 20, right?
Yep.
You're buying at 20 and you're
Yep.
selling at 18. So
Yep.
that means that you're gonna gain $1 for your bought lot.
Why?
Sorry, you're gonna lose $1 for your bought lot because the actual value was 19, but you bought at 20, so the value of the asset
Yep.
is -1. For the sell lot, you sold at 18, um, but it was wait, you sold at 18, but the value was 19. So do you also lose $1? So 18. You sold at 18, so you gain 18. But if you had kept that asset, you would have gained 19. Oh, so you lose $2. 1 buy. You buy at 20. It's actually 19. You sell at 18. Yes, you lose $2 for every
Okay.
lot, every one sell and one buy lot.
What do we do with that information?
Okay, that means that it is actually not a 50-50. So if we had a market like this where it's 2022, that means that this is an unfavorable market where the expected value is actually less than less than 0. So in that case, we would wait for the market bid ask to move towards the smaller numbers. So I would
Yeah.
guess if we're still sticking with
Back to the question of is there still a scenario where you would see yourself selling as well as buying to hedge your risk?
yes, there still is. That scenario would be where it's just in the maybe in the middle, where it's like I can't get a lot of value from buying the
Let's
market.
take the 18 at 20
Yes,
example again.
in that case, I would sell and buy at the same time
Why?
because there is while there is a relatively high chance of it being 19 at 19, 18, or 20, all three
Yeah.
cases where I lose $2. Um, there is still a great chance on the tail end of the distribution where there is a higher chance of numbers being outside of the 18 to 20 range than being inside the 18 to 20 range. So if I sell and buy at the same time, um, any number between 18 and 20 will return me -2 per lot of sell and buy. Any number below 18 or above 20 would also return me +2. So, but the probability of numbers being below 18 and probability of numbers being above 20 is higher than the probability of the numbers being between 18 and 20. Therefore, I would sell and buy at the same time.
Let's say you just sell and buy one lot.
Yes.
What's your profit if the number's below 18?
If the number is below 18, it's +2.
Let's say the number's 17.
Uh,
What do you make in your sell leg? What do you make in your buy leg?
if it's 17, I s- hmm, if it's 17, I sold at 18, but the real value was 17, so I gained 1. And I sold, actually I sold at I bought at 20, but it was 17. Bought at 20 with -3. Oh, so it's -2. Wait, 17. Gain 1. That's 3.
Because what's your net position?
-2.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in other words, a sort of gradient of 0. So
Uh,
actually, whether or not it's below or in between or above, you still have the same result
I see.
because you don't have a net position.
Mm. Oh, then I
So
wouldn't
you lose 2 everywhere.
sell and buy at the same time. I see.
What would you do instead if you had to reduce your risk?
If I had to reduce my risk, I would
Let's say you bought 10 lots, but I've told you that having bought 10 lots, that gives you too much risk. How do you reduce that risk?
sell some lots, maybe like 2 or 3, but not 10.
What about just buying less?
Buying less. Um, Buying less would also reduce. It won't reduce the risk in the market, but it will reduce the risk of me losing the most out of the money I put in.
Yeah. Okay. All right. What else? Is there any way playing this game you could make a profit without losing any money, without having any risk of losing any money?
without having any risk of losing any money. So all of the coin flip, dice roll, and card draw games have a greater than zero chance of losing all of your money. For the market game, is there a way to
But is that
Yep,
that's just considering one single bet at a time, right?
one single bet. Yes, one single bet at a time. So, yeah, there's two possibilities. So when you say without losing any money, obviously, if you
Yeah.
repeat the games, the rounds towards
I mean strictly having zero probability of losing
zero
any money
probability of losing every round.
on a given round.
Okay, yeah, then you wouldn't do coin flip, dice roll, or card draw because there's a greater than zero probability of losing money. Or actually, no, if the odds are like super weird, where it's like there is a zero, it is 3.3 to 0, then obviously you're gonna win money no matter what. Or
Sure. Yeah.
yeah, so that would be the only case, but nobody would do that in real life. But in the game, if that happens, you would guarantee money or
Alright.
guarantee to not lose money. For the market game, I believe there is a possibility of guaranteeing money. Let's see.
How would that look?
19. It's actually 19. And 3, 20, 21, 23. Okay. So the sum of the three cards can't be less than 3, nor can it be greater than 39. So if the market was selling a lot, or if I was selling a lot at greater than wait, let me consider the buying part first. If I buy a lot at less than 3 or at 3 or less,
Yeah.
then I'm
Yeah.
guaranteed to make money. If I sell a lot at
Unless it is 3.
what do you say?
If you buy 3, it could be 3 and you don't make anything. But
I don't make anything, but there's no risk of me losing money.
yeah. Yeah.
And then if I sell at 39 or above, then
Yeah.
I have no risk of losing money again.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that. Okay. Yeah, we have run slightly over, so we'll probably bring it to a close there.
Okay.
I did say I'd leave a bit of time at the end if you have any questions, or maybe I didn't mention that. So if you want to ask me anything about Optiver, about the internship, about the role, about the career, is there anything you want to ask before we?
Yes. So how is it? So you worked in Amsterdam and then you transfer over to London, right? How
Yeah.
how is the culture or how do the two offices look differently?
Well, fundamentally the culture is shared because there's just a lot of overlap in personnel. People move between the offices fairly often. We all work on the same systems.
hmm
It's just a same culture and the same vision of what the culture should be.
I see.
But we do trade different things and we do trade quite differently. The London office is much smaller, probably about a quarter of the size of
hmm
the Amsterdam office. That's the first thing to say. Then the product scope, products that we cover here in London are also a bit different.
Mm.
Here we're much more focused on fixed income and commodities,
Ah,
whereas Amsterdam is a bit more, it's a lot more equity focused. So
right.
we don't trade any equities here in Amsterdam.
hmm
And yeah, so each of those different markets come or brings with it slightly different trading dynamics, which make the trading a bit different. But apart from that, there aren't any other differences really.
Ah, I see. So you're currently trading fixed income and commodities at the London office then?
Yeah, so I'm trading a bit of everything actually. I'm trading a bit of fixed income, a bit of commodities, a bit of currencies, a bit of
Okay.
equities, but only sort of remotely
I see.
through our
hmm
other teams who aren't in London.
I've heard from the Amsterdam office that mostly traders focus on one specific equity option or like option market. Is that different
Yeah,
for
that's
London? Like, are there
no,
a lot
that's
of traders?
still generally true everywhere. I think
Okay.
there are a few teams like mine who tend to trade spreads, what
hmm
we call it, where we just trade loads of different products and we trade them against each other. That's not the majority of teams, but normally everyone at least starts off in a team where you're really just focused on one market, one product. Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
this is one of my last questions. Uh, so nowadays there isn't a pure quant research or quant trader role. Like quant traders obviously do a little bit of research. Quant researchers can do purely research, but quant traders have to do a little bit of research or modeling or whatever in their jobs. How much is your job purely trading versus a little bit of modeling or mathematical work?
My job in my team probably more towards the trading side of things and less on the research side.
hmm
That's more given the nature of our mandate. It's a lot more discretionary, so probably less data driven than some other teams. Where
Mm,
you on some other teams, you might have traders who barely ever trade and are really focused on trying to optimize a strategy or a model or a back test.
I see.
That's what they spend most of their days doing. So there's a huge amount of variation within the company.
hmm
Depends on the team, depends on the mandate. Yeah, it depends on what the trader is best fit is
Uh-huh.
best fit for. Really.
So does that mean that since you're trading commodities, you're doing some like macro analysis on the side as well? That doesn't have to do
Uh,
anything with data analysis?
yeah, you can do. We can do a lot of just very discretionary macro sort of argumentation and trading. Yeah, we do a lot of that. Yeah.
I see. Okay. And would you say that for the Amsterdam office internship, what is like the number one thing that a prospective intern should learn about before taking on the internship?
There's no one thing. The level of required knowledge is quite low. We're
Okay.
generally not assumed anything. You'll learn everything that you need to know on the job.
hmm
That's the first thing to say. But yeah, so I'm hesitant to give you anything to tell you that there's anything else that you need to know.
Mm,
Making yourself familiar with the idea of betting
okay.
and risking money and having to do this sort of payoff where you've got multiple different things, different
hmm
EVs, but they also have different risk profiles and trying to weigh them up and still come to a decision despite all those risks. That's kind of what we've done in this game here.
Okay.
So that's
So just
the idea. We're trying to replicate that sort of thought
mhm,
process.
brushing up on all these concepts of probability, spreads, risk, and all that.
Yeah, generally.
Sounds good. All right. I think that's
All
the
right.
end of my questions.
All right, cool. Well, that's everything. It's lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you too.
Cool. Have a good rest of your Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm sorry about all the like technical difficulties
I
we've been
know.
having.
Don't worry about that, Tom. Don't worry about that, Tom. All right. All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye.